Hi friends, I'm Senator Andrew Mathews, and I am here because I've been getting a number of messages this past few days on Senate File 3977, the constitutional amendment being proposed titled Quality Public Education for All Minnesota. And I've had some pretty serious concerns about the language in this bill, how vague it is for being proposed as a new part of our Constitution. I have a special guest here with me today. This is Mike Donnelly. He is the senior counsel with the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and Mike came in to testify this morning on the hearing about this bill. So Mike, thanks for joining us, and what did you come to testify about, and what should people know about this proposed amendment?
Well, thanks for the invitation, Senator. I appreciate it. So HSLDA, Homeschool Legal Defense Association, is concerned with this bill because what it would do is it would create a fundamental right for all children in Minnesota to have a quality public education. And then it also requires that there would be some uniform standard achievement assessments. So it's interesting because we're not used to being on the same side as Education Minnesota. Homeschoolers and the teachers unions together opposing this bill, and we've got some concerns. We have some concerns because we're afraid that the bill, one, is going to kick a lot of the decisions about what it means over to the Supreme Court. So you're going to have judicial elites making policy decisions, which is really something that should be left up to the legislature. Because it says all children are entitled to a quality public education, what does that mean for homeschoolers? What does that mean for private schools? Is that still going to be allowed? Some people think that's a little bit crazy to talk like that, but in 1925, the Supreme Court had to rule in a case from Oregon that you couldn't make every child go to public school. They said that
it was interpreted that way.
Well, the voters in Oregon had passed a voter referendum saying that all children had to go to public school. Very similar language to what you have here in this Minnesota constitutional amendment. Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that because the child is not the mere creature of the state. Parents have rights. Parents are the ones who should be deciding how children are educated. So that's why we're here. We have some concerns about that. We're opposing the legislation. And when I was listening to the testimony, and there was a lot of testimony today. The room was packed. I was listening to the teachers as well, Education Minnesota, and what I heard them say was something that I also said, which is there's nothing stopping the legislature from providing a quality public education to all Minnesotans today.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys are trying to do that.
We are. And I appreciate you coming by and sharing your thoughts on this. It's not that we're against quality education. We all want the best education possible for our kids. I was a homeschooled kid myself. I was the first ever elected to the Minnesota Senate, being a homeschooled graduate myself. I got a very good quality education from my family. I know not every family is equipped to be able to do that themselves, but whether you choose a public school, a private school, a Christian school, I know I've got some really good Christian schools in my district, or you choose to homeschool, this is an important right that parents get to choose, and it's not left up to the state, and it's the quality public education piece that we're afraid of how it would get interpreted in the courts. So I appreciate you coming by and sharing. Thank you to all those that have been speaking out on this bill. This is not something that I'm backing in its current form because I do think it is way too vague and will give way too much power away from families and away from the legislature and put it in the courts. So keep speaking up on this. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you next time.